Today's episode is brought to you by Path 11 TV, inspiring entertainment for the spiritually curious. With a Path 11 TV membership, you get instant access to over 100 hours of exclusive video content that explores consciousness, healing, and life after death. Also with the Path 11 TV membership, you can attend our monthly events and live streams free. In the past few months, we've already had medium readings with Drew Calley and Suzanne Northrup, along with a numerology session with Nicene Siegel, and Chinese face readings with Marla Goldberg. Join us for our next event, July 21st, for another gallery reading, this time with medium Mark Schmidt. You can start your Path 11 TV membership for just $9.99 a month, or get 2 months free by getting an annual membership. Podcast listeners can save even more by using coupon code PODCAST30. This will take 30% off, making your first year only $70. That's only 20 cents a day. Don't hesitate, because this offer is only good for a limited time. All membership plans have a 7-day free trial, so start streaming with your membership to Path 11 TV today by visiting path11tv.com and start satisfying your spiritual curiosity with our exclusive library of inspiring entertainment. Now let's get to today's show. Hi, and thanks for tuning in to the Path 11 podcast. I am your host, April Hanna. At the Path 11 podcast, we are here trying to deliver leading-edge research on consciousness, healing, and metaphysics. And just like you, we are trying to answer the big questions about life. Who are we? Why are we here? And what is our purpose? We hope by listening to our podcast, it will make each day you live on Earth a little easier to understand. And now for today's podcast. Well, hello, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning into the Path 11 podcast. If you love cards and love tarot, this is definitely going to be an episode that you're not going to want to miss. My guest today is Selena Joy Lovett. She's a psychic medium, Reiki master, mindfulness practitioner, and life coach. She's trained in Chinese medicine, CBT therapy, and NLP counseling. NLP stands for neuro-linguistic programming. CBT is cognitive behavioral therapy. And she works with the tarot to guide seekers forward on a journey of enlightenment, helping them release any negative energy, preventing them from achieving their goals. And for those of you who are watching on Path 11 TV, I was lucky enough to get a courtesy copy of her deck. It's called The Journey to Enlightenment Tarot, and she is also the author of the book here. And the illustrations are by a Daniela Forster. And they're actually beautiful. So, Selena, I am really curious to hear more about you and the work that you do, because it sounds like you and I have a lot of the same skills. And I'm jealous because I've always wanted to create my own deck of cards. And I'm sure one day I will. I just don't know how it'll happen and when it'll happen.
It'll happen.
Yeah. So give me a little more information about your background, because I know that, the tarot actually really helped you in your own healing, which is why you're very connected.
It did. I was so lucky. I was in sort of like years ago, 30 odd years ago, there weren't really counselors. You didn't have anywhere to go. There wasn't Instagram, social media, podcasts, anywhere that you could go and identify with people that were having difficulties. If it wasn't in your circle of friends, you were sort of there like an outsider, wondering how to deal with life and what the hell is it all about? Why do I feel like this? And I was lucky enough to be gifted a fantastic pack of tarots by a medium that I'd met, and there started my journey. I was just able to discover, to connect with spirit, to know that there was something beyond the life we were living, and it became my self-help dictionary. And so it just helped guide me through my feelings, because they were all over the place. And then I sort of step by step discovered that not only did it help me with my feelings, it guided me to make the right decisions for me within my life. And then it sort of then empowered me enough for me to to get what I wanted, to manifest what I wanted, instead of, leaving it up to fate. I would think, right, I want that. Is it right for me? How do I get it? And I was able to sort of harness the energy. So it was a great journey of discovery to do that. And then I just want to spread the word to everybody else that I want tarot to be in everybody's, on everybody's desktop, so that when they wake up in the morning and they'll pick a card and think, okay, what's going on in my life? What do I need to do? And how do I help myself? And so it just becomes part of our daily habit to have tarot in, instead of everybody thinking they're just for the gypsy down the fun fair.
Right, exactly. Yeah, so you really used it as an application to help your life, to help your emotions, to seek guidance, spiritual guidance on what to do. And we'll get a little bit more into that, but also I want to talk about your other skills too, right? So you're a psychic medium, you do Reiki, mindfulness practitioner, and life coach. So it sounds like you probably, like most practitioners who are in the field, had intuition early on in life. And then as you kind of move through your own journey, you begin to develop and really realize that you have some of these skills and do that. So what kind of work are you doing right now, aside from the tarot?
Mainly, I'm teaching, to be honest, now, because I teach tarot. So I teach it as a self-help tool, as well as a business, to start your own business up, because I find a lot of people in this holistic business, it adds to them, because I sort of really started doing a lot of doing acupuncture and massage. And I used to bring the tarot into the treatment, because I could show people where that backache had come from. Although I was treating it energetically, I'd say, look, this is where it's come. It's gone all the way back to this, whatever childhood incident or whatever stress was going on in their life. So I started doing that, and I've tried to sort of, or I'm hoping to teach people that they can integrate it into their business. So I teach a lot of tarot. I also teach how to use tarot to manifest and to make magic and spell, or bring the cards alive. So it's about harnessing that energy, the power we've all got. Magic always sounds very mystical and woo-woo, but it isn't really. It's what we do without knowing sometimes. So this is just to harness that energy and make the steps to make it happen. And I also teach sort of connecting with your spirit guide, so you can connect, because we've all got this amazing gift, but we just don't realize it. So I teach how to connect with your spirit guides. I work with another lady, another medium, and we do a couple of courses doing that. And then a course all about connecting to your guides and channeling messages to create your own tarot deck or your own soul messages. So I do a lot of teaching and, reading, but it's not so much tarot reading as a lot of people feel it is or think it is. It's not sort of saying yes, or you're going to get married in 2 years' time and have 3 kids and you're going to buy a new car next week. It is really quite an emotional. It's more like a counseling and finding out, this is the path you're on. They're the blocks. It's a very emotional spread, and where do you want to go? This is where you could be if you wanted to. So it's a bit more of an emotional, leading them through an emotional journey. So that's how I sort of read tarot. So it's all about empowering people. So a lot of teaching, and I love mediumship. I really enjoy it. I find it such a healing gift to be able to part with people, to share with people.
Yeah. All right. Well, maybe if there's time, maybe you could do a short spread for me, and you could demonstrate your skills and show people how it actually works. Now, let's talk a little bit more about the deck, because I feel like some people can be very scared of the tarot deck, where people may be a little more open to like animal cards or angel card readings. But there is something, the tarot deck has been around for a very, very long time. And I know some people get really scared when the death card comes up. Can you talk to maybe just a little bit more about the history of this type of deck? And maybe we can even go through, like, what do the wands mean? What are the cups? What are the pentacles? The different categories of it, to understand it a little bit better.
Well, first of all, one of the things I do teach in my course is one of the first things is if you're doing a spread for people and the death card comes out, do explain to people it doesn't mean death. In fact, it's quite a positive card. It depends every reading, but it is a very positive card because it's all about rebirth. That's something in your life that has had to stop, to cease, and that's now gone, and then you're entering into this rebirth. So it can be a very, very positive card. But yeah, people are scared of cards, and it is a shame. I know when I started being into tarot, people would back off a bit, and when I used it in my treatment room, a lot of the people would say, oh, I don't want tarot. So I used angel cards and goddess guidance. But then I thought, well, you're going to have to like tarot. But they are, I mean, this is why I feel that these cards are, because they're very bright, they're full of color, and they're very deep when you look into the pictures, but I feel very positive, because some of the death cards are quite gruesome. Some of the tower cards are quite gruesome. But, so I feel that they're a very positive card, and I feel they're cards that you can sort of look at and really pick up on different things with the colors and the images. Daniela and I worked very closely on the cards, and I feel that they're infused with the magic that she's got as an artist, because they're all drawn and there's so much energy and passion that's gone into them. And then from my words, all the energy behind them from all the years of reading and things, and all the love and energy. So I feel that they're sort of really in these cards. And then as for learning to read them, I feel that, splitting them up, as you say, into the wands, which are all, I'm just trying to find them. Let me find what we've got. So I've got one of cups. So we've got the aces, which always brings in a message of beginnings. It's the start of something, the spark of something. And with the cups, it is a spark of love. So there's some sort of love coming into your life. I often feel that this card is the start of self-love, of beginning to sort of recognize the love that you should be bringing to yourself. So the cups are all about love in all forms and emotions, or in all forms. Then you come over to the swords, which are more about thought and inspiration and logic. So this card is often perceived as some of the sword cards are perceived as a bit more negative, because we have this way of thinking. So the Nine of Swords she's got all these, the swords that indicate thoughts are quite heavy over her mind. But in this card, when it comes up, instead of it sort of just being, you've got a lot going on, you might be anxious and not sleeping, you've also in the book, if you pick that card up in the morning, you're like, oh my God, it's not going to be a brilliant day. But then you've got in the Journey of Enlightenment section, you've got how you can harness this energy, what you can do. You can do some breathing, some grounding, and tips to help you use this energy or get out of this energy and get away from any anxious feelings. And then the wands are all about passion, the Ace of Wands. So here you've got like this passion coming in, and enthusiasm and more movement within the wands. And what else have we got? I'm trying to find another. And the pentacles, which can't find one. And the pentacles, they're more sort of a grounded energy, a slower energy, and often about finances, health, security. So the four suits bring in four different energies. And once you start learning the suits and a little bit about the numbers, they do start telling a story and becoming easy to read. And I feel that you can read. I teach the tarot, the traditional meanings, my sort of interpretation, which brings in the advice that comes with, the life coaching and things like that. And then it's your intuition, because I feel that tarot are the key to your your guidance and your intuition. So you may look at these cards and see something very different to what's written in the book, but it's not wrong. It's the message that you're getting given. So it's just about being open to the different experiences. And the other card that is, I've just seen it in my pack and it's gone, was the Tower card. But look at that. I mean, that's just so sunny. I know this is on the radio as well. So it's a beautiful sunshine. And I think, if you look at these cards, the colors make any situation, gives you the answers to many situations, and definitely makes you feel more positive about situations. I was trying to find the Tower card, which again is something that's usually quite feared, but I can't find it. But this is the Death card. But again, I feel with this one, especially because you've got the red and the green, so it's like stop. So you're stopping to doing certain things, which can be bad habits or a certain situation you've outgrown. And then you're coming up to the green light where you've got all this hope and dreams coming in. So even the Death card, there's a lot of positivity within the card. So definitely not something to be feared. And once you get to know them, they've got so many answers and such guidance for you. I mean, for me, they've become my best friend. Sometimes they tell me things I don't want to know or I don't want to listen to. Well, no, that's not the answer I want. Throw again. But, as a lot of best friends do, they do tell you when your bum looks big enough.
Yeah. Well, that brings up a good point. I remember I had someone ask me, she was using an angel card deck, and it sounded like she kept asking the same question and throwing more cards, or maybe wasn't liking what was happening. And then she was getting really confused. She's like, well, how come, I asked it and I got one set of cards, and then I asked it again and I got something else. And would you also say that, sometimes we may want a certain answer and we can push the deck to try to give us that. If we don't like it, we scoop them up and try again.
Definitely.
And that could I think that causes confusion in the deck, because it doesn't really know what it's trying to answer.
Well, what I sort of suggest for people to do in those circumstances is really take that time to disconnect a little bit, to ground yourself, and then put your intentions. And I sort of say, I'm going to not go from my intuition. Show me with like the traditional readings, the traditional, whatever the booklet that comes with it, that will have the answer in. So there's some sort of way of communication and connection. So I sort of ground myself and then ask for the information to come, and not come from me sometimes, because then I think, okay, what do I need to know right now in my life? And I'll throw the card, and instead of me looking at the picture, what do I need to know? And seeing, so this is the Fool, and it can be interpreted so many ways. It can be, very positive because it's new beginnings and you're rushing, you're going out there and it's going to be great. Or it can be, are you actually being the fool, which usually is in my case, being the fool and, behaving foolishly. So, but what I would do, usually if I can't interpret it, or I'm looking for the cards to give me the answer that I want, I then refer to the book, which will then, something will stand out in it, and I'll think, okay, yeah, I know I'm on the right track. It's new beginnings, and I've just got to look at the positive things and not the negative. So that's what I tend to do. And I'm going to say this, it's a bit of a lie. I'll only do it once. I don't. I have to stop myself. But I do just try to ask the question once, because if not, the same answers getting thrown at you again, just in a different way.
Yeah. And what would you say to maybe people that come to you, say, once a month or a couple of times, and they pulled the same cards and they're like, oh my gosh, I got the Two of Swords again. Why does the Two of Swords keep coming up? What's your interpretation with why some cards still stay in our spread, even there can be a lot of time that has gone by that it shows up?
Usually I feel it's because they've not taken the advice of that card. So particularly with the Two of Swords, it's about being blocked and indecisive or not seeing. And so when this card comes up, it's usually, okay, it's time to make a choice, take some action, write down the pros and cons of the situation, or study, investigate, but do something, because if not, if you don't make a decision, you're just going to be stuck in the two swords forever. And so if somebody came to the reading with me once, we would look at that card quite in depth and say, okay, what are the choices? And then you can sort of make with the cards two different, okay, choice A or choice B, which one's best for you. And then if they go away but don't actually take any action, then the same card may come up again, because sometimes our lives get stuck unless we actually, take that and face the fear and take that decision. I say, okay, I'm going to do this. And she told me I should do it and everything's going to be okay. But sometimes people do need that push. And sometimes when it's really stepping out of your comfort zone, you may need to be told twice. But then once you actually take that step, you'll think, yeah. I was listening to something the other day and you think, yeah, everything worth having is outside of your comfort zone.
That is so true. Yeah, absolutely.
So tarot can sort of keep giving you that, I'm here, I've got your hand, you're going the right way, come on. So it's like having someone with you, just reassuring you that you're on the right path. And if you keep going forward, the universe will keep conspiring to make things happen for you. But you've got to take that, it's your personal responsibility to make that choice and take the action.
Yeah.
Or if not, sometimes I might just push them.
I love that, though. The things that we want are usually outside of our
comfort.
Yeah, that's beautifully said. We just wanted to take a quick break to talk about our sponsor for today's episode, Path 11 TV. Not a fan of watching videos on your computer or laptop? Neither are we. That's why we recently launched the Path 11 TV app for your smartphone and TV. Now you can watch on your iPhone, iPad, and Android devices. Or if you prefer to wind down in your living room, you can now watch on your Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire devices. For listeners of the podcast, the easiest way to get started is by pointing your web browser to path11tv.com and starting a 7-day free trial. But be sure to use coupon code PODCAST30. Again, that's PODCAST30 to take 30% off of an annual membership for maximum savings. Once your membership is started, visit your smartphone or TV's app store and download the Path 11 TV app. Once downloaded, you can then link to your newly created account and start streaming on the go or relaxing in your living room. Visit path11tv.com for all the details. So what makes your deck different than just buying the very original, tarot deck? And I know that you've kind of touched upon this a little bit, I think, with your experience and what you've learned. And it feels like there's a real personal touch to the cards and what they have taught you along the way. But I mean, you can go to like a Barnes and Noble and you can see so many different variations of the original, tarot cards. So what makes yours different? And
I feel they're very modern, and so I feel there's a lot of new energy around them. They're dealing, I feel, and especially because we were finishing writing this book and doing the artwork as we were going through lockdown and restrictions. So I feel there was a lot that went into them that's very relevant for what we're experiencing in the world right now. And a lot of the cards I feel are more emotionally supported, so you've got the traditional readings or the traditional meanings can help you a lot in life, but I think when you look at the journey to enlightenment, it helps you harness your personal power to use the energy that comes up in the Empress and then it makes you go to the next step, or it takes you to the next step. So I feel it's almost like using tarot as a self-help book to get you on the path for health and wellness and balance, which is what we all want in our life, that experience, that elusive balance. But I feel that that's what helps them. And I feel that they're just, for me, I think they're sort of infused magically. We all say words have so much magic and power. And I really do feel it within the cards, so I feel that they're easy to connect to, and there's just something quite special about them. I feel with the artwork and the words, it's just sort of all knitted in perfectly together.
Yeah, and my sense too is that each author of these card decks, they're bringing their energy into it. Which I think why some people are drawn to certain decks and another ones. And people might be really drawn to your energy and to the energy of the artist. So I think every deck is different. And if you were to go out and probably buy 5 different tarot decks, they would feel very different and maybe even respond differently to questions, because we also have to think about the creators of these decks. And like you said, like the love and the energy that gets put into them is probably going to carry the vibration of the person that created them, not just of what tarot means,
Exactly.
So it's you being brought out into the cards as well. It's almost as like if you're there with us, giving us the reading, we have your energy in the cards.
So I said, I feel like you're sitting on my shoulder. No, but she did actually say nagging me, because I was trying to push her in the right direction. Leave those habits alone, get new ones. But yeah, very much so. I mean, I've got about, I think, 50 decks of cards. But I did remember buying one that I just couldn't connect with, for whatever reason. I just didn't like it. But I would say to people, go, look at the cards, look at them now, because we're all on Instagram and YouTube, we don't have to go and look at a packet, because it's sometimes they're closed packets, but we can look and see on Instagram and see, what the cards look like and the energy of the person behind them, which I think is really great. I know my friend said the other day, because I do some Facebook lives or some Instagram lives, and one time I was recording, I think, the message for the day, and I was walking along the beach doing the message, dropped the phone, and then picked it up, dusted it off and carried on. And she said, oh my God, you didn't even edit it. And I was like, well, if anyone comes for a reading with me, they'll know I'm like that.
Right.
And I know some other people do recordings perfectly and the cards go like this and whatever. I said, no, I'm just me, accident prone.
Right.
I'll be reading and the card will get flown. So I said, I try on camera, I try to be, it's me, it's my energy. And people either like it or they'll think, oh my God, what an idiot.
Right.
It's like a different way. And I think that is exactly what you've said about the cards. People will feel something in the vibration just to think they're the cards for me. That's what's going to stimulate my intuition and guide me.
Yeah. And I would say too, I'm, you may agree with me, but I feel like my experience has been when the reader, so the person who has the deck of cards, is very connected to their deck and has built a relationship with them, that it's a much more powerful reading. And, if people are getting a card reading for the first time, I would also say that you want to find a reader that does have an element of intuition, because like we were talking about, the Two of Swords will always mean something, right? It has a theme, but a person with really well-developed intuition can look into that and see how that connects to the person who is getting the reading. And, you and I could pull all the same cards, but a really good intuitive reader, it's going to sound like 2 totally different stories. There still could be an element of you and I having similarities either in relationships or work or something like that. But the takeaway and kind of the channeling of what happens as the person that's reading and receiving the information from spirit and from their guides, it'll be delivered in a totally different way. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. I feel that people, when they're looking for a reader, this is why it's so lovely now that everybody's so open. There's, so much going on social media that they can look at the reader and think, oh, I like what she's saying. Some deliver really bluntly. I've watched a few people, they're like really, really blunt. Other people are, do it very softly, or, everybody's got their different way of reading. And some are just pure card readers. And others, like myself, really is connecting in and using intuition. So I feel that's better. I feel that you get more precise heart to heart because you connect so deeply. You sort of become, you know your client so well. It's like a really special bond that you share for that hour or half hour, whatever it is. And it's a very heartfelt reading, I feel, when you connect with intuition and, to the high to the aura, to higher power, to spirit guides. It just really connects you. And that's when you get all the answers and things really flow. But it depends how, also, I feel that some people come and they want terrorism, but they just don't want too much, so.
Yeah.
So it depends. And I do feel that it's something that it's really good to do quite regularly, so that you do go when you're going through different situations. And I feel that then the more trusting people are of you, the more they take from every visit, so it's the more they give and the more they take away from it. Definitely.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, would you like to give me a small mini reading while we have
got any
little
questions, or should I just see a couple of cards, see what comes up?
Yeah. Let's just see what comes up.
Right.
I'm open to anything.
Okay. Do you know what? We were talking in the very beginning.
Of course, the death card came up.
Yeah.
Of course. All right, everyone, here we go.
So at the moment, I feel you're going through some big changes. There's big changes going on either energetically or within situations in your life. I do feel it's both, and I feel that perhaps may have disturbed your energy, but again, it is a good disturbance. However, I also feel you may be a little bit at odds of what's going on. I've got the 5 of Wands coming, which means there's perhaps a little bit of chaos in a good way. It's like I feel almost like brainstorming around, so there feels like there's quite a lot going on. But with both these cards together, we have the Tower come in. This is the card I was looking for.
There it is.
So I feel, yeah. So you have, I'm going to show you as we go along, but you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 major arcana. So there's definitely a lot of stuff going down in your life, but it is all very positive because you're going through these big changes that you may be feeling that they're a little bit unsettling, and you may feel things a little bit up in the air, or you've got so many thoughts and things coming in that you're not quite sure of where you're going. And you may even have other people that are suggesting things or even interfering. But this does come in. This all means is it is a little bit of a personal awakening. Especially going these 2 cards together. I wouldn't say it's a little one. I'd say it's quite a big one. And when you really, but it feels like you're really stepping into yourself. So it's like, I almost feel like saying, it's like you grow up, you're growing up, and it's like you don't need to pretend anymore. You don't need to please people. You don't need to pretend that that's okay or not okay. This is you, this is the real you coming out to the world. And the next card is the Emperor. So again, I feel with these cards all together, with a bit of almost being a little bit strict self-discipline with yourself. So sort of saying, yeah, I'm doing this and I'm going to be organized about it. I'm going to throw out those things from the past. I'm going to face the future, put my boundaries up a little bit better, so I have time to go through this. But also I feel in the past you may have been swayed, and that's why this card might come in. You may be swayed by opinions of others or thoughts of others, and this is saying, no, you've got this. It's really time to go forward with your gift, but lead in it, and stepping into the future and cutting away with this the Emperor talks about cleaning the past away, especially with the Death card and these cards. And then what comes in, so I almost feel like you'll get where you have to. I don't think you've got a choice about it, actually, because of them all being the major arcanas. But I feel you'll get to where you're going better with the strict boundaries and, letting it happen and just keep helping to clear out the past. Because then what I feel coming in is even more gifts. This is the Ace of Wands. So I feel you're being gifted with more passion in your life, more freedom. I feel you just going, this expansion of almost stepping out and being the person that you really want to be, this flash of color and growth that's really positive. And the 10 of Pentacles comes in, which is all about being happy. I was going to say it's usually sort of happy family, but I feel it's you. Every part of your life falls into being happier because you've gone through the Tower card, and you're more in line with yourself. You're more honest with yourself. And so that creates this happy vibe. And once you're happier, everything in life's happier. And it brings in more freedom, perhaps freedom with people in your life, really neutralizing. This card gets really neutralized because as you step up and you're happier, but obviously it's also good finances as well. So it feels like business. What you're doing will also enhance your business. It really gives you that, because you've got the passion for it. When you have passion, your vibes are really high. So it's going to start. And I feel the energy really starts building up to be quite fast. One of the cards, this is like the shadow card, which is the devil, so you've really got all the, all what could be called as the nasties in tarot. So the devil comes in, and I feel this is your shadow card because I feel that you're coming into a situation that's very much on your soul path. It's very much on this is going to happen. You're going to step up and really share your gifts and really stepping up. And that's the word I keep getting for you. And this is saying, what is it? I feel like asking, if we were together alone, what is it that holds you back? Because I feel that this has happened before in your life, that things, this is about what are the chains that hold you down. And it could be just your personal thoughts, not a self-doubt that chains you a little bit back from this sheer freedom of these cards, So I feel that, the energies to work with is a lot more self-love, self-nurturing, believing in yourself and allowing yourself to grow, surrendering up to everything, and stepping into your I almost saying like being free to love, free, just seeing everything with love. That sounds really cliche, but it's like seeing everything with love to yourself and to others. You'll rise above it all and really go into this fantastic energy of the Ace of Wands and the 10 of Cups.
Awesome. Well, yes, all accurate. So
yes, can you cool about?
Yeah, can you hold up each card one for one, and I can kind of walk you through and give you some feedback too?
Because so the first card was the bad boy that we were speaking about. That isn't bad at all,
right? Yeah. So I mean, this is extremely accurate for where I am right now in so many different avenues, but also with grief and dying. With my audience knows that my mother passed pretty tragically a couple of years ago. So with that, though, it has allowed me, once her transition happened, allowed me to do a lot more processing of early childhood trauma. So I am currently in the process of going through a 14-week class that is, the next card was the Five of Wands. That's all about the fifth dimension and healing within the fifth dimension.
Wow.
And you use the word freedom, and the number 5 in numerology also represents the essence of freedom. And I would say that there's been like a lot of ideas and stuff that's going. And then when you said you really don't have a choice about this, some of the grief that I have been holding on to, because when my mom had passed, there wasn't a whole lot of time to get into the grieving because the pandemic hit. And then I was kind of shifted from my own grief and then went into taking care of my clients, right? So didn't have a lot of whole self-love and take the time that I needed. And in turn, some of that has manifested more in my lungs and physically, like dealing with some medical issues. So when you said like, you really don't have a choice in that, that's 100% true. But there was also a card a little bit later on after the Tower where the Emperor
boundaries, harder and clearing out. Yeah.
And clearing out. So I'm actually doing like an elimination diet that's giving me really strict boundaries of sugar, like no sugar, no caffeine, no alcohol, and really is like preparing my body in a totally different way to be like this healer that I am and this vessel. And like you said, to be able to move into more of that energy, which was
the Eight of Wands,
the Eight
when
of
you're
Wands.
gifted with all this passion and power. And it's funny, the blue, now you say healing, this beautiful blue, which I always associate with healing.
Yeah. And with that, goes back to kind of the five with all of the ideas. I'm constantly thinking about, the business and what can I do with Path 11 and how do I incorporate my own healing journey into the platform that I have to get it out there, to others. And, I always feel like whatever you learn as a person in the position that we're in, it's like once you have it figured out, you want to be out, like you said, you want to share this deck with the world.
It's so exciting. You're just like, you got to listen to me. I can help you, honestly.
Yeah. And I'm doing a lot of inner child's work, which, also kind of goes back to the death card as well.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like, the death of the old me brings the birth of the new me, and doing a lot of that trauma work has been great. So yeah. Nice.
And then the devil card, obviously it's getting a lot of this. And what was under the devil card? So that was like the shadow card. So that's probably the fear and everything that you're going through. But then as I lifted the devil card up, underneath was the Queen of Cups, which I feel is really, saying everything is, the more cleansing you do and the getting rid of the fear and the hurt of especially the passing of your mother, then you'll have this beautiful love, mother love, and feeling the pure love connection. And that hurt and the grief will move further away. So, yeah.
Exactly. Beautiful. Yeah. So, I mean, what a great demonstration. My audience knows my story pretty well. And I'm sure as they're listening, they're probably like, yeah, that's going on with April. Yeah. So if people would like to learn more about how to read this card deck, I know that I just want to take a look. You were actually giving our guests a free little gift. You were offering 10% off of your live tarot course if anyone wanted to learn it.
Yeah, it's a 10-week course. It's about it's 2 hours every week, but they tend to, sometimes they go on, depends how many questions and what class we're on. But yeah, so it's 20 hours. So you really go from beginner to pro. But within that, it's all really about your journey. So although you come out as a tarot reader, ready if you want to go onto platform, go to share your gifts. But if not, it's your healing journey as well. So it is beautiful. So there's a discount on that. And, also people want, if they already a little bit, they know tarot a little bit, I'm doing the Manifest with Tarot and Magic course that I've not, it's on my website, but I've actually not put any dates to it yet because I'm still, I think, you know what it's like? You start something, you think, I'll do that about the manifesting, and then we're doing some altar work and some candle spells and, how to manifest and magic. And then it just seems to expand because I think, I'll tell them that as well about moon rituals. And what was going to be a little half-day workshop has gone into, so probably 4-part course.
Right, exactly. Yeah, expansion, lots of ideas there too. And the website, which is the best website to give them to go to for you?
www.Selena Joy Lovett. So Selena, Selena, Joy Lovett, Lovett. So they can pop over there. And then there's information on there about where they can buy the deck from. There's also a free course that comes with the deck if you purchase the deck. So, and it's got some spreads in them for you, or if you already know tarot, there's spreads about, having a look at your chakras to see what's happening within each chakra to help you enhance their energy. And also, funny enough, communicating with your inner child, which goes into a little bit about, what's your inner child saying to you, because that can be one of our major blocks, for everything in life. As people say, oh, well, I manifested magic. And you're like, well, because, these childhood pain or lessons learned. So it helps to dig deep. But we do dig quite deeper into that in the manifesting course, because it's to sort of free up any blocks so we can start bringing everything that we deserve in life.
Beautiful. Yeah. And I'm telling you, I'm a huge fan of inner child work because, I mean, I've done it before, but not to the level of intensity that I'm doing right now. And like, she is my best friend right now. Like, I am taking her everywhere with her.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And it's, it really makes a big difference. Like, even these meditations that I've been doing with this other teacher, when I would first go to rescue her, she'd be so sad and scared. And like, now I show up, she's like, all right, what's going on? The essence of the energy of the inner child shifting, and healing. So, I mean, that card reading was just so wonderful and beautiful and great. And I love your energy. And we'll definitely be following you on social media. And hopefully we'll get to see you drop your phone a couple more times and just be authentic on the beach.
Brilliant. Well, it's been so lovely meeting you. And thank you for having me on.
Yes, thank you. And I hope you all enjoyed this. Again, it's the Journey to Enlightenment Tarot, and SelenaJoyLovett.com. So check it out, people. Buy the deck, get your free course, and take advantage of that 10% off. So thank you, everyone. And thank you, Selena. Thanks so much for tuning in to today's show. If you haven't already, please subscribe and rate and review the Path 11 podcast in Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Also, this podcast is made possible by our sponsor, Path 11 TV. Visit path11tv.com to start a 7-day free trial and start streaming over 100 hours of exclusive video content on consciousness, healing, and life after death. That's path11tv.com, and be sure to use coupon code podcast30 to take 30% off your annual membership. Start satisfying your spiritual curiosity with a membership to Path 11 TV today. Bye for now.